scheme was introduced after the Chibok girls were abducted. How many years ago? 12 years ago? 2014, about 12 years ago. And even now, some of the Chibok girls haven't been rescued, right? Leah Sharibu is still in captivity. Since then, up until now, the number of school children in abduction is alarming, alarming. And if under over 600 pupils, 145 billion naira. I want to get that data for you. 'Cause when I saw this one, I said, yeah, I have to read this. So the like I mentioned, the safe school scheme was introduced 2014. After the Chibok girls were taken, right? But right about now, oh my gosh, I can't find that information. I read it this morning. I should have kept it. I read it this morning. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Once I find it, I'm going to read it. And I was like, hold on a minute. In the so in the 3 years that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been in administration, we've seen an alarming number or increase in the school children being abducted, and that's scary. If you don't think that that's scary, I'm telling you for free that is scary. And if for me, like somebody said on Twitter which day, like you can just use how do they say that thing in Yoruba? You will even shame, at least shame and do this thing. Do you understand? Shame and do it, right? Sort out the issue of insecurity. Because if you don't shame and do it, see, don't mind my English, I'm translating it from Yoruba directly to English because I can't really find the words for this. If you don't shame and do it, then what's the point? Because we've seen incidents of abductions in Nigeria, Kaduna, Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kogi, Borno, Oyo, Kwara, Benue. I mentioned Niger as well. If you check all the states, it don't touch everybody. So if at this point we are the government is still doing, we are going to what's any problem already? Like lack of infrastructure, actually weak infrastructure in schools, because this other incident, did you see how the schools where those schools are dilapidated, there are no classrooms. We've been shouting about this for a very, very long time, and still nothing has been done. So if the president or this government cannot shame and do the needful, then we're in trouble. That's just the head and shoulders of it. But yeah, let me just go on. Aftermath primaries, Obi rallies NDC aspirants for unity. Moving on to the Guardian newspaper, we have Owo Church massacre. Terror convict gets death sentence. Still in the Guardian, we have worsening insecurity raises concerns over Motekun's capacity and funding. We're going to get into that this morning with our analyst. This day newspaper, we have Omagege Oborewori flouted Tinubu's directive to share 60-40 party structure. Still on this day newspaper, this one, breaking news. We saw this yesterday. Ex-Minister Adilabu's sister abducted with her 2 sons in Ibadan. This week, I saw someone say, Boya is celebrities they should be abducting. Then somebody said, Boya is children of politicians. And I was like, the spit of that person has not dried when this happened. Now, you can say this is not direct, but if your sister and her children were abducted, you personally, you know how you are going to run helter-skelter, actually knowing that this the brother is a politician, is in this current government. Like this is so sad, especially because we're talking about children. They're teenagers, I think, yeah, preteens or teenagers, but they are children notwithstanding. And conflicting thoughts that people have had. Were they abducted to teach Adelabu a lesson? Were they abducted intentionally? Even the that we saw them get abducted on, that road should not be a road in the first instance. So of course, if you're going to pass bad road, I personally like to pass bad roads or any road that I'm feeling somehow about, because I'm like, this is not even about abduction. We're talking armed robbers. We're talking criminals that can attack you on those roads. You won't find me winding down my window in my car. How much more this? I don't know, man. Like I
That's
said, go ahead, Simba.
yeah. The Adelabu sisters' children and herself were adopted. You know, that's a big fish for the abductors. And the truth of the matter is, eventually the chicken is going to come home to roost. Why do I say that? Hitherto, the people who have been kidnapped have been, persons and perhaps children of, in parentheses, nobody, people who don't have a name as it would appear, who don't have a voice as it would appear, you know, there's a way the Yorubas put it, they will say something like, Omoti Oniro. Do you understand? However, the reality is coming to us that no human being is superior than another. Okay? And so eventually we are going to find this. It's not about someone, making prophecies or
Yeah.
predictions, and all of that. It's about the reality that is going to face us. But and it's already beginning. The target eventually, because when you look at the boldness of these persons involved in this act, you would understand that something they ground.
Mm,
Okay. And I think that maybe for the average Nigerian, look, you don't rejoice. Anybody who is abducted are made to face the kind of things that abductees face in those camps. If you still have some form of human feeling in you, you will feel for them. It's not
yeah.
something you even wish for your enemies.
Mm-mm.
Okay. However, maybe, just maybe, if this thing begins to touch the high and mighty of the society, maybe we would have a different narrative. Do you understand? Now,
Mm-hmm.
the question is, supposing, I mean, sister is even a little bit foul. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah.
But imagine if the wife and children
Yeah.
of these persons who control the narrative in Nigeria
Mm-hmm.
were to have been part of this or your abductees. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure we're going to have the same, response that we
Mm-hmm.
have. So if the average Nigerian is saying or praying or wishing that let them go and begin to get these people, it's out of frustration on the
Mm-hmm.
one hand, and it's out of some sense of hope on the other hand, that maybe just perhaps if this thing hits, the privileged in the country, maybe we would change our we would change our response or
Mm-hmm.
reaction to it.
Yeah.
So I feel for the for those children and their mother, because the only sin they have committed in this situation now is
Is that
because
they're
they just happen
related?
to be related to the
Yeah.
man. And sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Some of these people might not even be beneficial to their extended families.
100%.
Apologies, you
100%.
understand? And then you are on the receiving end just because of who they are. Well, I pray, because they're human beings too, that something is done and they get out of it. But if you ask me, one is want to think that this one is just an economic thing.
Hmm.
So all the money where for take do campaign, I did won the primaries. At least they would have stacked up some money. Let him go and pay it.
Okay. Moving on to the Daily Trust, we have Nigerians turn to charcoal firewood as cooking gas price skyrockets. I think about the last time I checked, it was like 2,000 naira
Oh
per
dear.
kg. But then even charcoal has, as with everything in Nigeria, because sometimes we ourselves, we do ourselves,
No, we go
trying
go back to the bush to the pick firewood
to
now.
last, because
Last,
charcoal has now even gotten expensive. So
uh, uh,
yeah. This one is a sad one. Abducted Quara worshippers die in captivity. I don't recall the number of them that were abducted in March. Not the one from last year. They were fresh abductions that happened in March, and it from a church. It was a Sunday service in Kwara, and they had
Mm.
abducted some of them in March. I think March 22, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, 5 of them have died, including the wife of the pastor, and most of them are not young people. They're like elder citizens that are age 58, 68, and the like. And so the pastor got the phone call to say that, oh, they've been killed. There's still 3 people left in captivity. This is sad. Some of them had what do you call them, health issues, and needed access to their drugs, which they didn't allow them have access to their drugs. Unfortunately, they have been killed. The pastor said, they have gone to be with the Lord, and our thoughts and prayers have gone to them. In the
Mm.
Vanguard newspaper, do you want to say
Just,
something, Sibo?
yeah, I was going to ask, would it be that ransom was not paid, or that despite the payment of ransom, those people were still killed?
Interestingly, I saw a headline or a video this morning, early this morning, of a family. These ones are not even, I'm not even sure if they are bandits, because now we have even lumped all of them together. The family paid the ransom, but by the time they went into the forest to get them, they had killed them already. So it's not even a case of ransom, is that these people, these evil people know that they can get away with anything. So this is not even a case. It's like, I will collect the money and I will still kill. There's no, because obviously they can tell that the Nigerian government doesn't have value for the Nigerian life, the ordinary Nigerian life, Nigerian citizens' life. So they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll take your money and then we'll kill them. The prayer right now is not even that, oh, let's get money to be able to pay the ransom. Is that money and praying that those people are not killed. So in other societies, you know that, oh, they say ransom, they'll collect and they will release the person. Maybe they hurt them a little bit. But right now is what you don't even know if you're going to get your family member back even after paying the ransom.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper, Ogun. I think that one happened in Edo. Yeah, that happened in Edo, the one I saw this morning. Police officers went into the forest. I watched the full video, and the family members were wailing and crying even after the ransom had been paid. Okay, moving on to the Vanguard newspaper, we have Ogun dismisses rumors of terrorist invasion, assures residents of safety. I don't think that any state government can assure anybody of safety right now. So this is when you say you're assuring the residents of safety, what does that actually look like? What does that mean? Like, do you have security? It's not even about security. Those that are in the forest, have they been released? On Monday, I was speaking with Wednesday, speaking to Emmanuel, and it was like, you do realize that on TikTok, the bandits hold TikTok lives, right? I said, oh, they hold TikTok live and they flaunt the money that they are collecting, and they're pointing and they're cursing in their language the president. So what are we doing? What are we saying?
Okay, but let me say something here that I think is important for me. So the beginning of the news item you just read says that the government is denying abductions
Of
of
terrorist invasion in Ogun State, yes.
and all of that. I think that it is a time, and a place to pause and say something to Nigerians. Look, a lot of videos, a lot of news are being posted, okay? And yes, a number of those news items and videos are fake. They're not true. Now, the moment you do that, you are already heating up the fear, okay, and the paranoia that is in the country. I think we need to appeal to ourselves that people must be as responsible
Yeah.
as possible responsible. In as much as I'm not trying to gag anybody, or to campaign for the government that, thinks it should not be brought out into the open, particularly when they're true. But at the same time, we should do these postings with a sense of responsibility. There's no point, putting up a scare that is not true. Recently, I think a few days ago, there was that news item that came up. You know what? Not news item, some posting, I think it was on X, that OPIC, estate just there had been invaded. 6 people had been kidnapped, 3 people had died, even after paying 30 million. And it became a heated debate, okay, on the platform of my own estate. But at the end of the day, somebody now came and posted, a notice by the executive of the what do you call it, of the CTA of OPIC itself, saying that, look, these are false rumors. Nobody had been abducted in OPIC, and that they had actually gone to, I think, 2 or 3 police stations around them, okay, to find out. Peradventure, the police had, news of any kind that they were not aware of. And at the end of the day, they do a blank. So we need to be responsible with the things.
Absolutely.
People go and dig up 3-year-old, 5-year-old videos and post it as happening now. They pick up videos from across the West African coast that is not Nigeria, that is
not Nigeria,
not even related, and begin to stir up, all kinds of emotions and fear, especially within the country. I think that is wrong, and I think it's something that we need to tackle. And also media houses maybe should also come up with a jingle or something about that, to just kind of douse this tension that is in the country.
Okay, thank you. Well said, well said. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, we have Senate to federal government security agencies deploy all resources to rescue kidnapped school children. Moving on to the Premium Times, we have abduction or your private schools reject strike. Protest opt for 1-day closure. Hopefully, we'll get to this headline with our analysis morning. Amotekun debunks reports of bandit attacks in Ondo as parents withdraw children from schools. In the Nation newspaper, we have abduction. Senate seeks expansion of Safe Schools initiative. Also on the Nation newspaper, we have Senate passes Malaria Elimination Agency bill. Moving on to the cable newspaper, we have Accord disowns Benga Hashim's candidacy, says no presidential primary was held. Lubaton. Police grill Wike's aide Larry Olayinka, detain INEC official over voter data leak. Then in the Daily Post, we have UCDA demolishes shanties in Umuahia, says they were hideouts for criminals. NNPCL, more Nigerian filling stations reduce fuel price significantly. Now, if you see this significantly, now you think it's one big money. It's just like 20 naira they removed, though. It's not 1,000 naira they removed, it's 20 naira. I thought that was so hilarious because I saw the change. I think I was on my way back from church yesterday. I was like, this is their price as a particular trusted filling station I like to buy from. Oh, your price has changed. Only for me to say NNPC, they are reducing price significantly. 20 naira is not significantly. It still is
20 naira money.
It's not. So we cannot even spend 20. If you gave a child.
No, it's not about the 20 naira. It's about the cumulative effect.
Yeah, but for an individual, I get you, but an individual, right? If I'm buying fuel, that 20 naira doesn't really make any difference for me, because the difference between how much I would have bought 20 liters last week and now, it is not significant. For them, it is. For us, because we're the ones who are buying it, we're the consumers, 20 naira. Reduce it by 3,000, reduce it by 5,000, then we can talk. Tribune. Yes, pardon, what did you say?
I said, yes, ma'am.
You say 20 naira. 20 naira, you can't even buy pure water for 20 naira. You cannot buy pure water for 20 naira, as little as that is. So, sweet's gone over, right? For 20 naira, sweet is now 50 naira. Tribune newspaper, Tinubu congratulates Jimo Ibrahim on new UN role. Appeal court affirms Agada-led APC exco in Benue State. Finally, today we have pen pushing. Lagos State government arrests 45 beggars, including 9 children. Lastly, we have Akpabio sympathizes with senators who lost bid to secure party primaries tickets. It's only sympathy you can offer them, to be honest. That's it. Okay, let's get into it this morning. Let's start with this one because I read it and I was like, what are you saying? What are you doing? This is from the Nation newspaper. First Lady urges women to tell Nigerians about Tinubu's achievement programs. Now, and I want to is it I want to go the way of the special seats bill and the fact that we don't have women in governance. Yesterday I was on a space that was held by the Voice of Women Empowerment Foundation, and the women that came on that space were talking. They gave us data about the percentage of women in governance and how it has reduced in every cycle of the assembly. What was not alarming was currently we have 4 women senators in Nigeria. At the primaries, I think only 2 or is it 3 of them got 3 of them got their seats because Senator Iriti Kingwe didn't get she was is it voted out. She didn't make it through. That's the way I can put it for the primaries that just happened. No, she did. She did. Senator Iriti did. I think I don't recall the name of the senator, but basically we only have 3 women senators. For the House of Reps, I think the number has reduced. The data has skipped me because I just kept on brooding and I was like, so if already we have less than 5% of women in governance, by the elections next year, by way of the primaries, the just concluded primaries that we have seen, we're going to have less than 3% of women in governance, whether in the upper chamber or in the lower chamber. So imagine I don't even want to say surprise. Imagine my, irritation when I saw this, that the first lady was urging women to tell, the people about the president's achievements and programs. I was like, is that the conversation to be having? Or is it supposed to be, how do we get women? Like how the special cities bill, they've gone mom on it. Nobody's saying anything at all about it. And then you're saying that they should go ahead telling people about it. And it begs the question, why is that women are always called upon when it comes to, oh, let us promote this or promote that or campaign for this or campaign for that. But when it comes to actual governance, they are missing, or you're not letting them be there when it comes to actual governance. If you read the article toward the end, women leaders were assured of getting vehicles and they should register it in their personal name. And I was like, you cannot be serious with this thing. But Sumba, let's hear your thoughts about it.
And look, for me, it's not even a conversation I would have desired to have. When I saw it, you mentioned the word irritation, and I think that's apt because it's not even something that should be discussed. I'm not even going into the route of your own issue about women, engagement and all of that. That's not the concern here. The concern here for me is she's a woman. She's a mother. What is it that is giving her that, sense of satisfaction or ease that is making her concentrate at a time like this on campaign? Look, I mean, I saw a post, okay, by this dramatic woman, Just Adetong, some time ago,
Yeah.
where she was asking, what exactly is the first lady drinking, to gain sleep?
Sleep, yeah, I saw that post as well.
And that might need to tell us so that we can also, follow in that direction. I don't know any sane woman, okay, who's gone through the pangs of motherhood, who is focusing on any other thing in this season. Look, for me, last Saturday, I was supposed to attend the 60th birthday of a dear friend. They called a dress code that I didn't have. I went ahead and bought. I did everything, laid everything on the bed. And then at some point in time, I asked myself, well, why not? So I will carry myself to a party and go and be dancing, disco, dancing, whoever, you know. My every part of me just did not respond in that direction. So I didn't show up.
Wow.
You know, when he saw me in church on Sunday, I said, I apologize. You know, I'm telling people that, you know, we must be aware of the season that we're in. We must be aware of the things around us. Nobody's safe. You understand? So for her to be able to still have that, you know, I don't even know what name to give it, to be able to go out and be campaigning for her husband, talk about her husband's achievement. Maybe she would need to write that achievement on, you know, on some board or whatever, so that, you know, write the vision, make it plain upon the tables that we may read it. And then we can roll with it, because I don't know what she wants people to point at, except, of course, you begin to call, oh, achievement, the children are still in the bush, that's an achievement, okay? But just so that I don't sweep off your line of thought, you're talking about women, they are not, you know, and all of that. We've had this conversation over and over again, but I
Yes.
want to also say to you, for me, every time you talk about women not being government, I think that we should all, you know, we should kind of remind ourselves that the numbers you have quoted are not accurate. They're not absolutely right. You know why? In Nigeria, there are 36 states. Those 36 states have first ladies. They are in government. And otherwise, what is Remi Tinubu talking about? What right has she got to hold the office of a first? It's not
Accurate.
constitutional.
I didn't see that coming
But
so
they are
far.
more powerful. Okay, they are more powerful and more visible than anybody who went through, you know, the route, through the right processes to hold an office in Nigeria. So let's not take that out of it. Do you understand? So it's a
Yeah.
question of what do you regard as governance in Nigeria? How do we define governance? Okay, you go to the Yaloja, she's in government. And I'm not being flippant about this. I'm not even, it's not a question of sarcasm. It's the reality. I mean, what do you know the number of women she controls? Do you know the number of women who are at her beck and call and who are under her governance? Okay, so when I said first ladies, that's first ladies. So commissioners, I mean, the commissioners are first lady. Look, let me tell you, a couple of years ago, where did I go? I was living then at K2. I went somewhere, and then the next day they were trying to move us away. Please, Madam Chief, Madam, what was the problem, my darling Fumi? The wife of the chairman of the local government was coming. I had never felt so insulted in my entire life. And by the time, you trust me, I began to say, I don't understand. I mean, almost to her face. And somebody was already there to tackle me violently. And she came like that, dressed up. We thought, I said, what? So is she not in government? She's in government, oh, she's spending your money. She has a seat allocated to her, an office allocated to her. So maybe Nigeria has to go back to the drawing board and define our own terms. So when we say governance, what do we mean? Okay? So,
Yeah.
but again, the critical issues are there. We've tackled those issues over and over again on every platform that we can. We've shouted ourselves for us. The bill, you know, is there. It's not been passed. We're still, you know, making advocacy for it. The woman does not have that, you know, the men, their counterparts who are men, you know, they have a soft landing. As far as Nigeria is concerned, when you talk politics in Nigeria, when you talk governance, like they have often said that a woman's role is in the kitchen, a woman should be restricted to carrying timbrels and drums and dancing and wearing a ashwabi. Okay, so I mean, I think there are more salient matters to talk about.
That's actually an important question that you asked, because I never even really thought about it. The commissioners, the ministers, so going back to say, okay, if we're saying that there are no women in the upper chain, so I think it's for the upper chamber, the Senate and the House of Reps. But then what happens to the female commissioners? What about the ministers? What's that about? Yeah, I will look into that and see how we can do that. Thank you so much for because when you went, I was like, huh? And then oh yeah, because nobody really mentions the Minister of Women Affairs or Commissioner of Women Affairs in different what do you call it? In different ministers, parastatals, ministers rather, or even in states. We
And
just
the
focus
first
on
lady,
that. Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
what it
All right. Okay, let's move to the next one. This one is from the give me a second, find it. Okay, from the Premium Times newspaper. So all private schools are rejecting the strike and protest and opting for a 1-day closure. The point they're trying to make here is that, look, even if we close down the schools, like, what does that do in the long run? That's number one. Number two, they say that if they are closing down the schools, doesn't that now help these bandits in achieving their goal, which is to stop education? That's really because Boko Haram actually means no education, for children. So wouldn't that do that? Number three, I think they cited was parents also, they don't want their children to be in school idle, to be at home idle. So all these points are really, really like the focal point of the coalition in Oyo State about why they're not joining. But they said they will join them tomorrow for a 1-day prayer strike. Yes, please. Yes, please.
I beg you, let's stop this trash in its tracks. The question is, I read through, the nonsense that was put up.
Sumbo, please.
We have gotten to a point in Nigeria where you have to say as it is. If not, we get off some platforms. Now the issue is they have reeled out all their own reasons, and their executive summary is that protest is not going to achieve anything.
Yeah,
and no problem. I don't have a problem with that position. But my question is, what alternative are they offering? The alternative is to hold 1-day prayer on Friday. How stupid can you get? And you see, this is my challenge. If this is coming from an association or coalition of teachers who are the ones who impart knowledge, who are the ones who are responsible for transferring knowledge to the children, is this the kind of knowledge material that they have? Look, we ask ourselves the question, as citizens, what can we do in the face of all of these things? We can do advocacy. When you have done advocacy, when you have held conversations, when you have made all those, conventional pushes and it's not working, the primary way by which you can, press forward your position is to go out there and say, we're protesting. Now, this particular protest is not just about protesting on the streets. It's about saying, if the children are not safe, we cannot continue to have them in school.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to put them at risk. Okay? Now, my question to these people is this. If those children have been abducted from a private school, is this what their reaction is going to be?
Very true.
If their own children were one of those abductees, is this the position they would take? Look, we have come to a position in Nigeria where we worship money. The average Nigerian even on the street, those are the ones that are suffering the most. So if you say to them, okay, let's go and protest, let's, kind of push forward our, it's not necessarily even anger, our position and all of that. They'll say, "Shame me need journey." You understand? And I'm asking myself, other 13 jam since you have been eating, what has come out of it? Now, and unfortunately, let me also, maybe in wrapping up this, is to say to us the reason why the efforts of well-meaning Nigerians never seem to come to anything for me is because there are always traitors.
Yeah.
In the midst of
100% agree.
there are people who would, hobnob, frolic, and be in bed with the opposition. Okay? When I say opposition, I'm not talking about party opposition. You know what I'm talking about. Now, and then the government itself has a strategy, particularly this present government. They know how to infiltrate. They know how to put in somebody in there that will go and, scuttle whatever plans there are. Now, because if you ask me, I can't prove it, but you cannot disprove it. I would say to you, for me, that the government sensitivity at a time like this is all about elections. Oh, so this is bad for the optics. All right. So let somebody, or a set of people go there and say, no, the government is trying this, that. Look, if not for the fact, okay, that if this thing happens to the private school, it is still our children that will be affected. Otherwise, one would have said to them that what has happened to those, public school students, okay, let them have a taste of it. This is wrong. This is selfish. This is inhumane. This is inhumane. Okay. And for me, as far as I'm concerned, whatever coalition the private schools have, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, should what's the word now? Supersede. Thank you. I don't know if they will come and carry me. Let them go and deal with them as is expected. I mean, no child should be in school now. It's not safe.
It's not safe. All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Evangelist Dixon. How are you? Mhm. All right, go ahead.
I know. Are we? I can't hear anything. For me, you are muted. No wonder I can't hear anything.
No, I can hear him, but cannot hear him.
I can't.
No, just continue. You can go on. We're figuring out. Yes, please. Go on.
For power, maybe you need to do something. When you see something that the evil, and then you don't say it alone.
Simba, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Even if you come back and show their parents cannot be easy. If it happens to you, you know that's not easy. Even if these students come back, their parents cannot be easy. It's always learn to do the right thing. Okay, this thing, this one. Everything will end in 50 one day. And if we do anything and get in here on earth, we cannot get it from God. If you have all the money, how many years are you going to spend? Let's say 200 years. But think of insanity. There's something in this life, absolutely nothing. We should always learn to do the right thing. God is touching us. Nigeria is debating. Nigeria was not like this before. I believe Nigeria is still debating. If we all learn to do the right thing, even some of that are complaining. God bless Nigeria. Nigeria will be great again. That's the last number.
Thank you so much for coming. He's talking about the opposition. He says he agrees with everything that you're saying. Talk about the opposition. Also talked about how he has not had light for the last 3 weeks and what's going on with that.
Well,
I think Areko too hadn't had light. I was surprised when I was driving in.
The club.
I was surprised when I came in this morning and saw that there was light in Arepo. People have actually been complaining about the blackout and the fact that tariffs are incredibly high for darkness. That's literally how to explain it. Let's take these messages before we go on. The phone lines are obviously open: 07000-917-917, 0800-1235-917. I can see some messages have come in. Additional Wasil says, top of the morning to you. 36 state governors contributed to this insecurity because many of them refused to sign the death warrant of condemned inmates that are in prison, and they've forgotten that they promised to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria as amended. But these governors signing budget and contracts. Many of these criminals I'm not sure I understand. Okay, we have another call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Christopher. I'm calling from Abu.
Good morning, Christopher. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, people are doing a great job. Thank you for the madam who has actually spoken the mind of so many Nigerians this morning. It is I can't imagine how we had this kind of situation on ground, and then the first lady is busy doing campaign, and even the government is just busy doing campaign. Like, it's crazy to me. I can't imagine it. I went to my children's school this morning, and looking at the children, I'm just imagining, how can we have this kind of situation? You know, how can we have people targeting children now, and the government doesn't see that this is something that should never do? Like, I don't understand. And then we come to it now, private schools are busy saying all kinds of, they are busy saying what I don't understand. When everybody's supposed to team up and see how to put pressure on the government to see how they can get these children out of captivity. It is terrible. Like, we've actually gotten to a point where the schools now should just let the parents, let the children stay home and let the parents keep eyes on the children. Because the truth is, even the most private schools are not even secured. You go around and see most of the private schools and you're wondering that some of them don't even have, in terms of security, so they don't have a kind of safe environment or like security in the compound or anything. They don't even have. So I don't know. It's something that everybody had to put pressure on the government. The government had to do something. There is no two ways about it. This is not such that they will use to play politics, and this is very, very bad. It is very, very bad. The children cannot be the target for whatever. I honestly appreciate what you people are doing. I just called to say, well done. I called to name my voice and to say that just everybody, all hands should be on deck. We should put pressure on the government to make sure they do what they are supposed to do.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for calling. I mean, everything you said, as a parent myself, I cannot imagine, my child in this kind of situation as well. God forbid. God actually forbid. And we can all say God forbid, because we also have this culture of not me and my family. But I like that what's happening now is people are like, oh my gosh, what if this was my child? As opposed to how we sometimes we would behave like we're far removed, from the situation. Okay, let's continue taking these messages. Olusoga Ajayi says the beginning of the end to this banditry and kidnapping in this country is for the president and the governors to sign the death warrant of all prisoners on death row, and they should be executed publicly. Thanks so much for your message. Evangelist Shegun Oyedeji says, good morning, Fumi, Sumba, the tiger on radio. No matter the degree of pains in our marrows, my question is, why should some people from a particular part of the country degenerate to a level where traumatization of human beings human beings, even sometimes roasted them for meals, are normal? Why is this country turning into graveyard by a particular set of people, and they have leaders, royals, and politicians, even elites, yet they support and benefit from the madness and turn around to indict despite the government they are part of? This is a war orchestrated to perpetrate an agenda. Unfortunately, the South has lost rationalization to tribalism, hatred, and politics. This is the time for reasonable ones in the country to join forces to say enough is enough of this rampage. This invasion has been long planned by born to rule demons. This evil amalgamation of strange bedfellows should be dismantled at all costs. He also goes on to say, for me, many of the videos you see on social media are not real. They are to inflict unnecessary fear in people by these useless scammers. Thank you so much for your message. I want to play the voice notes for this morning. This one is from Prince.
Hello, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, everyone listening to WFM across the world, either via Radio Garden, normal radio, wherever, or the website, wherever you are hearing our voice from. This is Mr. Prince on the line this morning. Kadeto and Madam Fumi, both of you are great women in the archive of Nigeria. Both of you are powerful ladies whom your families depend on every day. Like the headlines you are rolling out this morning, just imagine if any of us, you, me, those of you in the studio, any of us are victims of what you are reading out from those papers. Imagine that it happens to any of us. Imagine that it happens to any member of the staff of that radio station. Just imagine what those children are going through. We don't know their location. You don't know where those people in Kogi State, in fact, the one that were killed on Sunday, 30 people slaughtered. We don't know where those that were kidnapped in Benue are kept. Some of them have been alienated from the earth. Some of them have been eaten, if I want to use the word. And these are cannibals operating openly. Look at yesterday, hot afternoon, you took a woman and 2 children. The former minister of darkness, they call him, or power, whatever they call him. Now, just imagine, I don't want to go far, but please, I want to beg Nigerians, wherever you are hearing my voice from, this is the firstborn of Igala Kingdom, Kogi State, Nigeria. If we make mistake 2027, 7 months away from now, and put this man there again, if you collect a cup of gari and rice and 1,000 or 5,000 to vote for Tinubu again, you will suffer more than the people that knows the pain of this country now. Your own suffering will be, it's not a prophecy of doom. I'm telling you reality ahead. You will even suffer more than those that have lost their loved one now. If you make mistake again, this man returned. By the carelessness of your own selfishness and stomach infatuation, you vote for this man and collect 5K in 2027. You will suffer beyond the suffering of Nigerians currently. So shall it be. Thank you, and you have a nice day.
That was a prayer. Oh,
As we round this week, a artist had come out to say, "Oh, the government is working," and she was chewed alive because Nigerians have gotten so angry. I think sometimes whenever maybe a revolution is about to start or something's about to start, there's always a catalyst, and the catalyst in this case is the case of these children.
oh
in
yeah.
Oyo,
Oh yeah.
right? And people are angry because if I saw someone status yesterday that said you cannot downplay the place of prayer, and I'm like, yeah, nobody's downplaying the place of prayer. We have been praying for Nigeria since I was born. Since I was a child, we've been praying about Nigeria. If you went to Sunday school, they would tell you the finger prayer. I think the second finger or the third one is the one for prayers for Nigeria. So we've been praying for Nigeria since. The point is, you are meant to be praying and working at the same time. You should use your mouth and speak against the things that are happening. So I'm so glad that Nigerians are coming together. This matter.
God himself is described as a man of war. Jesus is described as the captain of the host.
I mean, said so. Every single person, please. I like that we're really joining hands together to speak against this menace that is called abduction. Last year, I went for a conference in Abuja, and there was one of the journalists had said when these abductions had started, they called it banditry, and he had said that they were fighting against the use of the word banditry because he said language is very important. That when we should have called it what it was, terrorism, they were calling it banditry, which made it sound very, very nice. Look at where we are. We don't even know what to call it anymore. Is it banditry? Is it terrorism? Is it like this is like
All of the above.
Nigeria is above. What did you say, Simba?
It's all of the above.
All of the above. So I like that we're joining our hands, but beyond that, we need to also join forces. Come 2027, you know what to do. Decide by yourself. The quality of life that you had before 2023, is it the same quality of life that you have right now in the year of our Lord 2026? And me, I don't really say if you collect the money, God will punish you. You don't TV for who you want to vote. You don't like, you're hungry. They're missing a need. You sex. I joke. I'm joking, But my point is, this is what I'm going to give you now. The bonus that I'm going to give you now is how much, and all our people are eating right now is rice. That rice cannot last you a whole year. So let's even talk about 4 years. So the rice that you're collecting, think about it. Am I trading my birthright? Am I trading the future of my children for a bag of rice or a bag of beans or for Gary or for 5,000 naira? With that being said, we've come to the end of the Daily News Review program this year for this morning. Tomorrow we'll meet again at 7:30 to have conversations. Our prayers go to those children, and we're hoping that they haven't been hurt or touched by these bandits. And our prayers also go to the families of these children in captivity. I cannot for the life of me begin to imagine the horror that they are facing in their homes. Yeah, that's it for today. 9 o'clock is the news. 9:05 is her lens. Don't go anywhere. This is still Women Radio 91.7 FM.